Hello friends, there was recently some conversation among the regional ministers about doing research on the Disciple Mission Fund giving in congregations, and I thought it was a good opportunity to take a minute and show you the yearbook statistics that are available in CDM Plus and how you can use that information to do some of that research. You do need to download yearbook statistics using a CDM Plus utility. That information is covered in another video, but what I want to do today is assume that you have the information downloaded, that your yearbook statistics are up to date. How can we use that to gain some information to understand things like attendance and giving in our congregations? I'm going to assume that you're already familiar with the church records window and what that looks like. I've brought up the church records in the Christian Church in Kentucky database, and I have a particular congregation highlighted here, Antioch Christian Church, that's located just outside of Lexington, Kentucky. What we're interested in for this conversation, though, is what's on the yearbook tab. And you may or may not have explored this, but this is where we store yearbook statistics for each of the congregations. So, for example, I can see for yearbook year 19, and let's pause here a minute and remember that the year here represents the year for the data. So because this year says 2019, this data came out of the 2020 yearbook, the yearbook that was published in 2020 and contains the data for 2019. So we can see for this particular congregation, we've selected the year for 2019. On the Performance tab, I can see what they reported as their total membership. I can see what they reported as participating membership and their worship and church school attendance. I can go to the Giving tab and look at what they reported for their operating receipts and capital receipts. And I can also see their Disciple Mission Fund giving. So I can look and see what this congregation's total disciple outreach was. I can see the Disciple Mission Fund, kind of the regular DMF that was given for the church school, or youth, DMF that was given from the CWF. I can also see what was given to each of the special offerings. And I can go look at this for different years. I can select 2018 and see what the giving was and see what their numerical reports were for that year as well. And I can scroll through these going all the way back to when we started recording yearbook data this way, actually in 1982. For Antioch, it goes back to 1984. So I can look up this information for each congregation. I can also use this information to build searches in CDM Plus and do research in CDM Plus. Say, for example, I want to know just which congregations have given something to Disciples Mission Fund, whether that's regular DMF or special day offerings, in the past 5 years. I can build a search in CDM Plus that will give me that information. I'm going to take a minute and show you how to do that. So to start a search, I need to click the Find button so that I have the Find bar here at the top of the record window. Because I need to use a related record to the church record, I'm going to do an Advanced Find. And that opens up the Advanced Find window. And whenever you open an Advanced Find, just make this a habit. Come up here in the upper right corner and click Clear All. Let's start the search from scratch. Now this is going to be a related records search, so I need to use the Related Records tab on the window. So let's take a moment and just let me talk for a minute about what I mean when I talk about related records. So briefly, here's what we mean when we talk about related records. Data in a relational database like your CDM Plus database is stored in a set of tables. And you can kind of think of those tables like spreadsheets in Excel or numbers. The fields are the various columns, and each record represents a row in that table. So in the spreadsheet, in the table that contains your church records, well, each row is a record for each of the churches, and each column is the field. So one of those columns is the church pin, which is that unique 6-character identifier for the congregation. Well, the yearbook statistics are also stored in a table in your CDM Plus database. And each of those yearbook statistic rows also has that church pin identifier in it. So when we relate these two tables, what we mean is the church pin in the church record matching the church pin in the yearbook stats record, we're able to relate those things. So I can now go to a particular church and look for information in that church pin, or I can look at particular statistics and match that back to the church pin in the church records. That's how those tables are related, and that's what we mean when we talk about related records. So with that information in mind, let's go over here to the Related Records tab. So what I need to do is add a related record to my search. Then I can choose which record I'm looking for information in. In this case, it's yearbook stats. And I'm going to say OK. So let's talk about that search I wanted to do. So within the past 5 years, which churches have given anything to Disciples Mission Fund? So I'm going to start by using yearbook stats records, and I'm going to scroll down here and use this field called yearbook year. Again, that's what we saw on the tab, the years there. So I'm wanting the past 5 years, so to come up through 2019, I want the year to be greater than or equal to 2015. Then I'm going to add one more criterion to my search. And I'm looking for, this is actually a misspelling, it should be total DISC outreach, but this will be our total disciples outreach that is greater than 0. This should show me all of the congregations in my database that in the past 5 years have given something to Disciples Mission Fund, whether that's regular DMF or special day offerings and so forth. So I'm going to click OK to execute my search. And I can see that I have 171 congregations. Out of the 205 congregations listed in the yearbook for the Christian Church in Kentucky, 171 of them have contributed to Disciples Mission Fund within the last 5 years. So you see, we can use this information to do all kinds of research, as well as just being able to look up for specific congregations. I'm going to do one more example. Suppose I want to see which congregations in Kentucky have reported worship attendance of 40 or less in the past 2 years. So again, I'm going to click Advanced Find. It brings up the last search that I did. So again, I'm going to clear all. Don't want any remnants in my search. So again, I'm going to the Related Records tab. Now I'm going to choose a related record. I'll choose Yearbook Stats, click OK. And again, I'm looking for a particular couple of years. I could just use the most recent year. I'm going to scroll down and find my yearbook year greater than or equal to 2018. The reason I might use 2 years is because not everybody reports every year. And I'm going to add another criterion where I look for average worship is less than or equal to 40. And this search now is going to show me all of the congregations that either for 2019 or 2018 reported worship attendance of 40 or less. Click OK to execute my search. And now I have in my results window again that of the 205 congregations listed in the yearbook for Kentucky, 102 of them last year or the year before reported worship attendance of 40 or less. That's approximately 50% of the congregations. Well, now that I have these results in the window, there are other things I can do with them, like for those DMF giving congregations. I can use the print button here in the sidebar, and I could send church letters. I could send emails to these churches. I could export some data about these churches or other information. So, there's more things. Once we've done the search, there are other things that we can do. But I thought it would be handy to know how we can use the information, the yearbook statistics that are in CDM Plus, to do some of the research that we often find ourselves doing. So that's a little bit about how to use the yearbook statistics that are in CDM Plus to do some yearbook and gather some information about the congregations in your region.